Thanks so much, everyone. I'm in these photos. And I'll ask you to choose later which one's me. My mum's in the room, so she knows. And one of my best friends is too, and I reckon she does too. But this is me in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, and I'm showing my age. This is Geelong. This is my home. This is the place I love. I loved sport too. So everything I did growing up had to do with these activities. I loved watching sport. I loved playing it. So I played tennis, hockey, clearly. Basketball, I did swimming. I loved AFL, but there was nowhere for me to play, unfortunately. Still think I would have played AFLW too, probably, if I'd had the opportunity. But this is where I learnt about community. This was the place playing team sports and learning so early about the importance of clubs. And when I finished school, I decided that I wanted to work in sport as well. And for 20 plus years, I worked in not-for-profit sport and events as well. But for me, that there was probably something missing in terms of where I was at. There was just a nagging thing for me to say, this is not it. Just go to the next slide. So this is me. And this is Jimmy Bartell. And we played in the premiership together. How cool is that? I'll tell you a story about that later. But again, this is, and you know what, I was just going to say before I started, two things that scared me tonight. One was trying to do these cue cards with a microphone in my hand, which is hard. And two, I didn't see the photo that was on there, but there was this windswept photo of me that's been on social media all week. And everyone's been calling me Beyonce. And I was like, if this turns up tonight, I'm in big trouble, but I don't think it did, so that's okay. But my dream job was something that I was still looking for. And I knew it was a sport-related thing, and I knew it was about my Geelong community. But I just hadn't found it yet. And about 2.5 years ago, I did. And it's called Read the Play. This organisation was founded by a guy called David Langley. Probably nearly 20 years ago, he had the idea. He had some mental health issues in his own family, and he said, you know what? Why aren't we doing things in sporting clubs? How great are sporting clubs? Why aren't we doing education programs in there? And I'll be honest, 20 years ago, no one was talking about mental health. This guy was like, no, we're doing something. And he did. And 20 years later and 30,000 plus participants later, this is where we are today. And I'm really thankful for that. Suicide is the leading cause of death in young people in Australia. I'm going to say it again. Suicide is the leading cause of death for young people in Australia. Put your hand up if that scares you. Yep, it scares me. But it also drives me, and it drives the people I work with. So for us, it's about, we don't want to hear these stories. Nathaniel shared before his story, and I hadn't heard that part. And that's really powerful to hear. And why we exist is to make sure that young people don't feel like that's their only option. There are other options, there's ways to get help. The other thing that's really interesting is 50% of mental health issues emerge before the age of 14. Our program is about 12 to 18 years, and we think it's super important that we can talk to young people as soon as possible for them to make sure that they know there are other options. There are people that can help them. What does a bad day look like for Read the Play? It's a suicide in our community, and there've been too many. Only in the last few weeks, there was a really prominent person in our local community that took his life, and he was a former AFL footballer. But it wasn't even that. It was the impact that he'd had on young people in the community. He was involved in local sport. He was involved in the schools. And after that, you see this ripple effect of people saying, oh, I knew him. You know, why did he do that? I don't understand. And all these young people out there going, our mentor's gone. Why is this happening? And that's something that really, again, drives us. And it's hard not to get emotional about it, I'll be honest, because it's just a sad thing. It shouldn't be happening. These things shouldn't be happening in our community. And they, as I said before, they do happen in Geelong more than they should. The other thing I want to talk to you about is what a good day is. Let's go there. For me, it's hearing stories. It's people in our community that come up to me at events like this and they go, oh, I did read the play. I did it about 10 years ago in my local football club. Oh, gee, it was really cool. And I go, why was it cool? You know, I know it's cool, but why was it cool? And they're like, oh, I just remember after it, I don't know, our conversations were better. There was something about it. My teammates talked to me more. We talked about mental health stuff more. What, you know, like why weren't we before? Our coaches understood more. They started asking more questions. They were asking how we were, those sorts of things. And I was like, this is a guy that was probably, I'd say 25 at the time. He would have done the program, you know, 14, 15, 16. And 10 years later, it's still really important to him. And again, that's what we love about it. How cool is that? That's something that he remembers from his sporting community back then. Whether or not he plays sport now, I don't know, but he remembered it and he came up and he wanted to tell me about it. And I think that's pretty amazing. So read the play. What do we do? We're free. And I'm going to reiterate that. We are free. We come into a sporting club and we deliver programs, as many as they want, to kids between 12 and 18 years. This is actually my local cricket club. And I actually won a premiership on Sunday playing for that cricket club too. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Yes, at nearly 46, I'm still playing. I might be nearly done. The program aims to give the skills to recognise mental health challenges, confidence to ask for help, and knowledge to support the teammates. It does a lot of other things too, but they're really 3 critical things for us. The really great thing about Read the Play too is that it's age specific. We've got 6 programs from 12 to 18 years and they've all got different themes. So we talk about bullying, we talk about suicide prevention and awareness, we talk about risk taking, teenage risk taking. Gee, that's a conversation I could have for about a month. We talk about alcohol harm, and the latest programs that we've just launched, and we will launch officially next week, have a vaping and smoking theme to them. So again, we've got to a point where these sorts of themes are rearing their ugly heads again, and you know, we think that talking to 12 to 14-year-olds about that's super important as well as mental health. Next thing. And why do we choose clubs? And I think I talked about it before. I'm a converted person. I love sporting clubs. We know young kids play sport. We know that there are some that don't as well. But in terms of Geelong and our community, we know that predominantly a lot of kids are playing team sports. But we also know that when things are great in a sporting club, it's awesome. And we also know that when things aren't great, clubs are even better. That's the best part about it. You've got a second family, you've got wraparound support. If it's you as an individual or your family, like I know it, you hear of something happens to a family and everyone's like, what do we need to do? How do we help them? You know, do we raise money? Do we do this? Whatever it is. So that's why we choose clubs. And again, I'm converted here because I'm still playing in one now. And the other important and really critical thing that we have as part of Read the Play is we ask clubs to appoint player wellbeing officers as part of, I suppose, being part of our program. And that means that when we leave, someone's there. So we say to the young kids, here's your player wellbeing officer over here. And if you've got questions, talk to them. We give all the resources to these people and make sure that they know where to go in Geelong, you know, what supports are available, like what the next steps are. They're not psychologists or counsellors. They're just there to support someone to get to the next step. And that's a critical piece for us. If they don't do that, it makes it really hard for us to do what we do. This t-shirt I'm wearing right now, it's got a crazy thing called Target 7,500 on it. Now, some crazy person at Read the Play decided that we wanted to work with 7,500 people in 2025. Can you guess who it was? Me. It keeps me awake at night. What $20,000 would do for our organisation, that would be 50 workshops and 2,000 young people. You can do the math to get to 7,500. So we're looking at 50, 60, 70 $80,000. Now, this is the impact that we can have, though. We know it works. The other thing that we're doing as part of this, and we've been pretty selective in the past around the sports we've worked with, but that's been financially driven. But I talked to our board at the end of last year and said, come January this year, we are opening up to every single sport and recreation group, community group, anywhere there's a young person, we're opening it up to them. So we want to reach that 7,500 target because we're doing that. And we've had a pony club ask. We've never had a pony club before. I've got no idea what we're going to do and what that looks like, but I just said, why not? Give it a crack. We've designed more programs. So we've got to a point now, we've got 6 programs from 12 to 18 years. And we want to make sure that the organisation is providing all the club support that they need. And then also, more importantly, I think too, what we're learning is parent support's critical. So what we're finding is player wellbeing officers are getting approached by parents at clubs. Don't know what to do here. How do I do this? Where do I go for this? So that's why that role is really important too. But for us as an organisation, we think that wraparound support around a young person is club, home, what are we doing? We know there's good stuff happening at schools. So that's where we are. And we're asking for your support tonight to support what we're doing. And just to finish off, just because I'm not going to relax after this, our target for 2026 is 15,000 young people. So dig deep, everyone. Thank you.